Chris, you just spoke here at KeyConf. Tell me, what was your presentation about?
Yeah, so I presented today on structuring a very segmented business organization with a lot of segmented business units and centralizing security with a single team. So basically wrangling the herd of cats that are all of our business units into one secure entity.
Not an easy task, I'm sure.
Not at all.
We'll get more into that later. Chris, about 2 years ago, you said that you had kicked off your secrets management journey. Just take me just prior to 2 years ago, a little bit before. What made you realize we have to start a secrets management journey?
Yeah, so I think it's the thought process started much earlier, even on premise. So even before we started moving to the cloud, and then once we started a big lift and shift to the cloud, it became even more of a requirement with multiple cloud, very segmented cloud infrastructures, multi-tenancy, stuff like that. The centralization for secrets became a growing problem. So about 2 years ago, we kicked off starting to see what was out there from a provider standpoint. And that led to several iterations of the project starting and stopping, from not really seeing a provider that we thought was a good fit for our company. Something with low cost of ownership, something fairly easy to maintain, something fairly easy to engineer, something that we could purchase and deploy in a reasonable amount of time, that did not require a whole lot of effort on the back end, but really provided the value of securely storing our secrets.
Okay, and what would be, let me ask you, if you could go back a few years ago, just as you began on the secrets management journey and looking for a solution, what is something you wish you knew back then that you definitely know now that you could tell to others, by the way, don't do this?
Yeah, so get your users, the stakeholders, right? So for me, my developers, get those folks involved as soon as possible in the process. They're going to be the end users. They're going to be the ones interacting on a daily basis. If you can get them on board, it makes your life that much easier to sell the budgetary aspect of actually purchasing, onboarding, and deploying.
Okay, may I ask, what happened when you brought them in later? What was the response?
Well, nobody wants to be told do this.
So that's just a human reaction
Exactly.
right there.
If you can help somebody though not think it was their idea, but if they had some input in making that decision, they were a part of the testing group, they saw the value before we made the investment. That makes it does two things, right? Selling to the business unit or the developing team is simplified, A, and B, the time to implement, they're excited about it, so they're going to implement it quicker.
Right, and you bring up an interesting point, because let's say you do all your due diligence, you see the product, and it's like, oh, this looks great. Oh my, we're definitely going to employ this. I mean, this works phenomenal, and you don't have others on board. This could be deep sixed, because we don't know what this is. We got to go start at square one, and that could cost you a fortune to go begin all over again.
Exactly.
And you may not come back to the same solution you wanted at the beginning.
That's exactly correct. So yeah, I've seen it happen before, and especially, we're not dealing with one team of stakeholders, right? We have multiple teams of stakeholders, so it's not just one group that we have to get buy-in from. It's 5 or 6 different groups.
And also, this is going to. And let me also ask you that you know this more now than later, but because of that, and I'm assuming the ultimate decision to purchase took a little bit longer because of that. Mm-hmm. Did they bring some things to light? You're like, oh, well, we didn't think about that. Let's just double check that this solution can handle it. Did you run into that?
Of course, yeah. So, and I think that's, again, to go back to having your stakeholders involved isn't just to make your life easier as a CISO trying to bring in a solution, but you're not a developer, right? You're not managing the development teams. You're not managing the business unit teams. There's a lot of nuances of their jobs that you're not going to know or understand.
Yeah, you don't have hands on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so I mean. And by the way, that is, and I hear this again and again and again, the amount of knowledge and visibility you can get just having a conversation with a junior developer is astonishing sometimes.
Oh, it's one of the, when I think about risk reporting, right? And who's reporting these risks in other facets of our program, it's the people with the hands on the keyboards. They're better than our vulnerability management detection teams or detection scanners at some time. They're better than our SIM at sometimes bringing these issues to light. So yeah, that reporting and that constant contact with the people, hands on the keyboard.
And has that been, because I've worked at organizations like this where they have rigorous postmortems, like once project X is over, it's like immediately feedback, what worked, what didn't work, especially the what didn't work, because I want to not do that the next time. Do you have a rigorous postmortem program?
Yeah, so I wouldn't call it rigorous, but we've definitely adapted it over time. It's there. We've moved more towards after action reports, identifying what went well, what didn't go so well, and it's just a constant. I guess I don't even look at it as a post-mortem really formally because I just
you do this as an iteration type thing. It's
Exactly.
not a like, don't tell me anything, now tell me something.
Exactly.
Tell me all the way down the line.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So formally, we've never called it that, but yeah, I guess we do now that I described it.
Okay, so you have it's in it more of a DevOps model, if you will.
There you go.
There you go.